Yeah, it is
Yeah.
visible now.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, you can start off.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Hey, hi, Chandraprakash Yadav. Thank you for being here. And today we have a guest as Chandraprakash Yadav, and please welcome everyone. So yeah, let's get started. So Chandraprakash Yadav has an overall 12 years of experience in the IT industry, and he has majorly worked on software development like Java, with using Java and J2EE, and also he's worked on MapReduce and I use Spark, Spark SQL, and PySpark, all these trending big data tools as well. So he has very good understanding of migration projects as well. These days, migration projects is very important, and he has majorly worked on these projects, and we can get quite an instance today. So yeah, Karthik, I will hand over to you.
Yeah. You just try to stop your screen. Let me share.
Okay.
Okay. Hi, sir. Hi, Chandraprakash sir. I hope I'm visible and I'm audible.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Yeah, sir. So, sir, there are a few questions from my end. So, first question gonna be, sir. Sir, can you tell us about your background and how you become a data engineer more specifically?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, hey, hi everyone. This is Chandraprakash, and I started my IT career in 2010. So, as a Java developer, so basically, for every fresh graduates at those time was inspiration to become a software engineer. Especially, there were two fields, right? Whether you want to do front-end engineering or back-end, right? So I choose this Java one, and sometimes I work on the JSP servlets. Might be you have been heard it, right? Might be have been working as well, but it seems like when you are going to the internet, these things seems to be obsolete for you, I believe.
Yes.
If you are a new grad, right? And then I was working in the software engineering side till 2015, and then 2015 I started as a data engineer. So my first company as a data engineer was Impetus, might be knowing. Which is one of the company who started working in big data in 2010, right?
Yeah.
So over there we built some couple of products. So the products related to one of the migration. So basically working on migration. But at that time, the people were not that much mature, right? In terms of different cross-functional knowledge, like MySQL, but you don't know about Teradata. You know Teradata, you don't know about SAP HANA or Informatica or something. But when you work as a migration, then you should know each flip side of every coin, because migration is not something you are just doing MySQL to data, right?
Yeah.
So we build a product, and then another product we build over there for a big data security architecture for our client American Express. So over there we build like something ingestion engine, right? That was completely written in MapReduce. I'm not sure how much you're writing these days or listening about MapReduce. That was the completely implemented in Java, MapReduce. And then we worked on all the read APIs, data processing like Hive, MapReduce, Pig, Spark. So basically we customize those jars, because see, if you own your own write engine, right? So you have a possibility to divert all the read engines, how you want to react on your written data, right? So we implemented some security features. So no open source read engine can read that data which was written by our application, that workflow. And then I moved to Singapore in 2019. And here I was hired as a data engineer, but this was one of the crux of the IT industry also. You hired for something, but you have to work for something sometimes, right? Just a matter of salary and survival. So I moved to Singapore, and then initially I worked as a UI engineer actually, because they put me in UI development. So apart from that, and then finally here and there, now from last 1.5 years, I'm associated with the Rakuten. Might be you knowing about it, right? And currently it's a very big organization actually. If you go and do about search about the Rakuten, what does it? So as a data engineer, basically you owe the data platform team. So data platform team is not compromised only with the data engineers, right? So the data comes the data comes with some suffixes, right? Like data
Yes.
ops, data operations, data platform, something, blah, 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 right? So in a
Yes,
big
sir.
operations, you have to find the right spot for you. Either it could be a development, it could be analytics, it could be anything, right? It depends.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's what I reached as a data engineer from 2015. And from 2015, I would say I have seen a lot of evolution in terms of data, big data
Okay.
ecosystem.
Yeah.
So I don't know how much you know about these initial terminology like this MapReduce, Pig, Spark. Have
Yeah.
you heard of the mouth?
No, sir. Mouth not. But big all those stuff we have.
Yeah, mouth might be because see, Hadoop streaming might be you have heard about, right? So
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
talk about the Hadoop MapReduce, so MapReduce build everything for each solution problem. They have a unique solution, right? And
Okay.
then all these problem points are being developed by the Spark developers, and they bring one single sort solution for each and every
Yeah.
problem. For that, you have to learn 10 technologies, right? But now you learn
Yes.
Spark, and then you are fit into the data engineering landscape.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's how the evolution I haven't seen. And now I would say even the things are getting mature, but the things are never complete, right? Every
Yes,
time
sir.
you see some improvisations. That's why you see versioning or something, blah, blah. And every
Yes, sir.
use comes with some specific solutions, right?
Yeah.
So I am here. Might be I will help you to clear your some
Yeah, sir.
doubts
Some
related
good.
to data engineering, right? Because I have
Yeah.
a good experience in terms of seeing the how technology is changing in data ecosystem,
Yes.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all from my
Yes.
side. Let's have
Yeah,
a
sir. Thank you.
yeah.
Thanks for this answer. So there was one more question, sir, from my end. So basically, what are the key skills and knowledge that you think are important for a data engineer to have basically these days?
So see these days, see in the market there are two types of things, right? If you want to cook a biryani or you want to cook a khichdi, you know, right?
Yeah, sir. Yeah.
So both share same flavors, right?
So, yeah.
But in
Yeah.
the preparation, both are completely different, right?
Yeah.
So see, to be ready with the job market, you must focus on the frameworks, right? The
Yeah, sir.
frameworks are widely adopted by the industries. Either
Yeah.
it's Spark or I would say Spark. Majorly, people are working on the Spark side, right? As a
Yeah.
data engineer, Spark, then Hive. You must work on the Hive also because if you are going to be a data engineer, you cannot leave Hive. Even the people says Hive is dead, but don't think about that. If there is on-premise data is happening, you are going to work with the Hive always, right? So
Yeah, sir.
Hive, Spark, and your SQL must to do. You don't forget about your SQL skills.
Yeah.
And then it's come to the orchestration. Then comes the orchestration. There are a lot of tools, but you have to be must learn about the Airflow, right? And for Airflow, if you are not open to the learning languages, then it will be tricky for you, right? Because
Yeah.
Airflow is completely based on Python.
Sir.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So if you're saying
Sure.
if I don't know the programming language, then how I can become a data engineer, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, thank you, sir. Thanks for that answer. So there was one more question from my
Sir.
end, sir. Sir, how do you approach data architecture and design when you are working on large scale projects specifically?
So see, whenever you work on the large scale projects, right? So your first
Yeah.
point of thing, actually, what your business wants to get from that data,
Mhm.
right? It could be
Yes.
your data like migration project, or it could be a completely different new project, right?
Yeah.
So the first thing, you get to know your customer, what exactly they
Yeah.
want to, right? And then you face a customer in the large scale systems. Sometimes you fail with the technical person, sometimes you fail with a completely managerial point of view, right? So you
Yeah,
know,
sir.
you have heard about the technical depth, right? The
Yeah.
technical.
Yeah.
So when you deal with the lot of non-technical persons to design a solution approach for any problem, right? You have
Yeah.
to do this technical depth term. Okay, we will do it
Yeah.
right now, we'll see later. Just first deliver it and then we'll see later. And this
Yeah.
letter sometimes become very complex for you to manage when
Complicated.
the project is get it completely vast, right? Now
Yeah,
you
sir.
just put your heads on your head and then what I am going to do, right? So for approaching large projects, it's always to break your verticals, what you want to achieve, right? So first you
Yeah.
have to identify your customers, what they exactly want to do with that. Then you have to
Exactly.
your data, something, if we talk about the data, normally data, here we are data engineering, right? So
Exactly.
what your source of data, what kind of data, which region you are bringing your data to, which region this data is going to be used, what are the
Okay.
governance complications on top of that data, right? So
Yeah.
this is a long process, right? To understand your data, to source your data, where you want to represent your data, you have to go through all these stages, right? Once you design proper approach, then you go with the framework selection. Either you want to go with the Spark, either you want to go with the MapReduce. It's up to you. But first you have to find a business solution, right?
Yeah.
How you, like, see, you might heard about the GDPR, right?
Yeah.
GDPR.
GDPR. Yeah.
You might be read about the news as well. Sometimes back, Google paid a lot of money. Facebook paid a lot of money to European government because of they were using sensitive data, right? Without any customer acknowledgement, right? So these things you have to keep in mind before jumping into the solution. Okay, I'm going to use Spark, I'm going to use Kafka, I'm going to use Redis, blah, 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 right? It comes when your business is defined, your boundary is defined, how you are getting it. Then it thinks about either a GCP, there is Azure, or is it AWS, or either you are going to use Spark or Flink. It depends, right?
Yes.
And it depends on team.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yeah.
See, you tell customer, okay, we are going to use Flink, and now you look at your team. Your team is just OpenAI. How is committed? We are going to use Flink. No one is knows Flink, right?
Yeah.
So that's how it happens in the industry.
Yeah.
So you should be very open, right? Okay,
Yeah.
I have committed. We are going to use Flink. Okay, we will do it because it's still just breaking the pots, right?
Yes.
It's not going to something. Someone is going to say, okay, this is my expectation. Just do it in a week. It's a long running when you work with the largest architecture and design.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for that answer, sir. So I had one more question, sir, from my end. So question would be like, can you share some of the biggest challenges that you faced as a data engineer while building data pipelines specifically?
Yeah, I will tell you. I will tell you my first instinct when we started with the data engineering, right, in the impetus. So we were implementing this big data security architecture project, right? So this was very early stage. So you never educate your data stream, basically who was pushing your data, right? So they were don't know about this. What is the Hadoop size? What is the block size? What is the, so whatever they were getting, they were just keep on pushing your system. And then what happens? Sometimes later, there are a lot of small files comes into the picture. And we started getting complaint. Oh, my table is having only 3 GB data, but while I'm trying to query, it took 30 minutes, 25 minutes, 10 minutes. It's weird, right? When you talk about GB and then your query performance systems. So what is the issue? With the, I see on the LinkedIn, a lot of people talk about the small file problem. But what it happens? Before submitting your job into any read system, right? Read processing, your job is actually submitted a bit late. Once all this metadata processing happens, right? And now the job is submitted to the cluster or wherever. You get to know the job ID, right? Till that time, you have to just look like a console. I have submitted, but till the time I didn't get my job ID. That is so. See, I talk about this as small file problem. So some of you might be hiding about the, oh, we are reading a lot, we can just handle it. But this was not the problem for us, right? Because this is a global problem. But when you're writing your data, right? And it depends on engine, how you're supporting your product. So we were supporting 4 types, right? The ingestion, then replacement, existing, we can replace it. And then incremental loads, right? And then deletes also. So from the same engine, you can do all these things. So we were having some identifier when we want to delete some files. Like let's say there's a W1 file, right? Workflow 1, workflow 3. There is a request come for workflow. We want to replace this file, workflow 3, right? We can replace it. Well, we can replace it this. But let's say these are the 5 different identities, right? Now you merge it into the one. So you lost the identity of 5. Now how your engine is going to support those 5 features, like replace, read, or something, right? So that's the challenge we face, right? Because in big data, telling things are completely different with the actual when it comes to the work. Right? So we struggle a lot. We read a lot about the Bloom filter. You have heard, right?
Yeah.
How many of Bloom filter?
I know specifically.
Because even if you launch your Spark Cell or something or MapReduce, you will see Bloom filter something. Blah,
Bloom
blah,
filter,
blah.
yeah, sir.
Yeah, right. This is some probabilistic algorithm which tells you the heuristic search. Actually, I would say. So the problem was how we are going to manage that metadata for those 5 identity into the one. That was the first challenge, right? The next challenge was, let's say your MapReduce job run, right? And it's complete the merge, compaction. Then some network glitch happen before processing your metadata into some store, right? So how you going to manage that part also, right? Because you know, in MapReduce or big data, right? Your job is completely 90% written or 100% written. When it comes to driver, some driver memory issue occurs and everything gone. You have to just rework, right? So compact it, and then some network glitch happens, some issues happen. Let's say anything can be happen into the big data system, right? So how you're going to manage those resiliency actually? How you're going to make your system resilient while you're doing compaction? Right? So these were the challenges. So we did a lot of brainstorming. Okay, we will compact. Parallelly, we will process. Since you teach MapReduce, right? I believe. So you heard about the tasks. When you run a job, there are a lot of task files created, right?
Yeah, sir. Yeah.
Those task files basically eventually keep some metadata. So we were capturing those task metadata files, then process and prepare a metadata, and then we were keeping those metadata 3 places. One place was the MySQL, second place was the HBase, and third place was the file system. So when it comes to the driver, initially when we process, we just keep it into the file system. One in the raw format, one in the processed format. So if something happened, goes okay, we have the file, we can process it again, right? And then why we choose HBase? That could be a question in your mind, right? Why do you choose? So you know, if you put predicates on HBase, you get faster results, right? So performing any updates, replace, replace or delete, HBase was the right choice to get the information to submit your job. So that's how we come up this solution actually.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you for that answer, sir. So there was one more question from my end, sir. Sir, can you provide us a brief overview how you deal with incremental loading? More specifically, could you give a brief understanding when you are like, I think you are working over Spark as well, as a current trend is moving. Many widely Spark is used over the industry. So can you give a brief understanding about how you do incremental loading in terms of Spark specifically?
See, so how we do incremental loads? So basically, incremental loads, nothing but your job is recurring running, right? Either it's an hour or after 6 hours, AV overnight, right? So let's take a simple example, daily, right? So daily, so in incremental jobs, while you read with the Spark, so Spark works on there some landing zone, right? So your data coming into some landing zone, from that landing zone, your Spark picks and then push into your final target, right?
Yeah, sir.
Right. So in landing zone, there could be a problem with your landing zone also. Let's say you are using Kafka, right? So the Kafka was pushing some data and then that data was not readily available before your incremental job triggers. That could be some issues, right? So see, there are always a lot of people discuss over LinkedIn or internet or something, best practices for dealing with this incremental data, right? Do checkpointing, do some specific versioning, right? Or maybe you can do something metadata processing, okay, like Kafka do offset, right? What you have read so far, and if some fail, they have something, right? So that kind of things you have to keep in your mind for dealing with the level. The best part was we are doing here, let's say whatever we are doing, we just add an extra column into our table. Consider it as a some partition, daily partition, I would say. We do the daily partition and then we recognize with this timestamp, okay, this data is here, this data is has something. And also we have the source system. to validate the data quality, which we usually call change data capture, right? CDC.
Okay.
Basically
Yeah,
implementing
CDC.
something with CDC, right?
Yeah.
Something is happening, something is coming new, something is updating, something is deleting. Basically, this is how we deal with the net. So we use checkpointing. Now to make your system resilience, there are boundaries, right? The Kafka can do their own checkpointing. Spark have own checkpointings, and you can implement your own yourself, right? How you want to process that metadata. Okay, something goes okay, but I am resilient. I will recover it in the next stream. So this is design how we flow. So basically, you have to understand the limitation and boundary of your where you are putting your data in landing zone, right? If your landing zone is okay, then you can recover everything.
Yeah.
Right?
That is fine. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you for that answer. So there was one more question from my end, sir. So, sir, how do you approach for data quality and validation when you are working, when you are specifically working? Like, do you use any tools for that, or specifically you do manually?
See, so there are open source tools. Might be you have heard about the Great Expectations, right? People are mostly use, but in our company we have implemented our own for the data quality. So data quality and validation comes into the 2 point, right? So if you talk about CDC, right, there is a diffusium. You have heard about the diffusium, right? That is change data capture, right? But most of the time, data quality or something comes when you're shifting your data from A to B. Right? Sir. So let's say your data was running in Teradata right now. Everything is productionized and your end users are happy. Now they decided due to some limitations or costing, they wanted to shift this data into the Hadoop ecosystem. So now let's say you shifted this data from Teradata to Big Data, right? So how you convince them? Okay, the data which is you are getting in Teradata is 100% mirror of the in Big Data side, right? So you have to process your data. You have to learn something, how you are going to. So see, the Teradata SQL cannot work in the Hive also, or either Spark. You have some tweaks, right?
Yeah.
So now here, while dealing with the data quality, you should know both the system. Then you will be able to do the right checks, right?
Yeah.
And then the data validation comes in terms of, see, every things we have differently in different systems, right? So you should be very open to this. I am working with the Spark data types, so I also should know how Teradata types deal with the Spark data types while comparing data quality, right? And see, when you lift or shift your data, right, there are very less chances you will be able to match 100%, right? So there comes to some things we would say tolerance. How much tolerance you want to set on that data? And you can convince your customer, okay, this is the tolerance for this data. If this goes beyond, then we have to look into the deeper why we are getting that differences. But if it's within the tolerance, it's okay. Make it open for the production use, right? So there are few, but it's better if you wanted to learn about the data quality and validation. I would suggest just do a look into the Great Expectations. You will get a lot of sense about the data quality and something. Because see, if we talk about the data quality and validation, there are different sides. If you talk about migration, there is a data quality and validation is different. When you talk about the streaming system, the quality and validation is completely different, right?
Yeah.
It just depend on the scenario, in which scenario you're talking about. So it's a very broader term, quality and validation.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you for that answer. So one more question from my end, sir. So what's your opinion on Scoop, sir, as an ingestion tool? Do you think still it exists, or one should learn for other ingestion tool or go for other ingestion tool?
I think I cannot comment on this because I have heard about it, but in my whole career span, I have never used it, to be honest. Even I never seen any of my teammates has been using it. I'm not denying it's not being used, right?
Yeah.
I might be few of the, for a study point of view, right? Because see, Scoop is what? Scoop is just doing your data, right? From here,
from
A to C.
Point A
now,
to point
Spark, why you want to use Scoop if Spark is giving you the connectors? Why do you want to learn the extra technology, right? If study is okay. Study never goes in vain, because when you learn a scoop, you get to know a lot of things, because a scoop is nothing but a map reduce.
Yeah.
Yeah, you agree? So
Yeah, exactly.
you should learn. So learning fundamentals always gives you a great sense of decision what you want to use a later stage. But so
Exactly.
definitely, I also read in my initial career of interviews. Lots of people ask about the scoop interviews.
Scoop. Okay.
Yeah. So it's okay for your interviewing point of view. You should know actually, because these are the fundamental blocks actually of the data engineering. But I have seen less. It's being used.
Okay.
At least wherever I have worked, I never seen a scoop.
Okay, sir. That's cool. So one more question from my end, sir. Sir, as you have wide experience over big data tech stack, so what's the difference you felt over MapReduce versus Spark specifically? So we know, but your experience will give us a lot of good insights.
See, if you talk about MapReduce, so
Yeah.
it always scares audience if you don't know
Yeah.
programming. So without programming, you cannot move with the MapReduce.
Yes.
Right? And people say, I can teach big data to the layman. So if you teach big data to the layman, then it's a Spark. Because if you know SQL, you are good with the Spark.
Yeah.
But again, if you are in some analytics project, then it is going to help. But if you are in some team, they are building some frameworks. Again, you should know the programming. Right?
Yeah.
Right. So MapReduce, basically why people hate MapReduce? Because it's completely, you have to write in Java.
Java.
Okay. And for that, you have to learn 6 months Java. And then you have to learn 6 months MapReduce. Till that, people will tell you are completely outside of the market. Right? Spark, right?
Yeah.
Even so, if you go to the Spark library, a lot of APIs they're using from the MapReduce itself, right?
Yeah.
If something implemented, they never goes on, right? No, go away. Spark is widely accepted and very open source community is strong, right? And whatever your facing problem might be, it's already available over the internet, right? That's why Spark is what we say, eye catcher for everyone in the data side. And you must know, actually, you must know.
Yeah, that's a cool answer.
But as my point of view, it's better to give some time for MapReduce, at least week or two.
Yeah.
You will get to know the actual data, big data crux, what was happening before, why Spark coming. Because whoever developed the Spark, they were the core developer of MapReduce also.
Yeah, sir.
Yeah. So
that is correct.
They were the intelligent people. They were saying, oh, MapReduce is something like this for problem like in our health system, right? There are doctors, MBBS know everything. But if it comes to the specialized, there is always different fields. So MapReduce was not like this. For a specific problem, you have a specific tool. You have to learn this. But when it comes to Spark is like a perfect MBBS. You can go like MD medicine, right? You can go and it cure your every illness.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir. One more question from my end, sir. When you are working real time, how do you monitor your job and manage your job performance specifically when you are dealing with data pipeline specifically? It's like how you optimize the jobs. Like if some job fails specifically, where you go and where you look after things and how you manage all those stuff, sir.
Yeah, sure. So basically, when you work with the different frameworks, right? So currently, what we submit our job through Airflow, right? The Airflow use we use Kubernetes, right? Our Spark jobs run on the Kubernetes cluster.
Yeah.
First place to diagnose an issue on the Airflow itself. Then go to the Spark history server. There you get a lot of insight about your code. Even you can see the tag and you can get a lot of great sense, right? What is happening with code or what is happening with your data, right? So Spark, I think Spark UI is the best place to identify your bottlenecks in your code.
Exactly, sir.
Right. So you must know how to see the Spark UI, right? How you are going to make the dots. Okay, this is happening. Okay, this could be a reason, right? So just take it out and then make it smoother, right? So best place. Apart from that, there are a lot of tools also in the market, right? So we use GCP stack driver also, right, for the monitoring and stuff. It depends, right? But the best place for the Spark is Spark UI.
Yeah, sir. That is a cool answer. Sir, one more question.
There is a data mechanics. Might be you can make it and see how they read Spark logs to give you more insights about your job.
Okay, sir.
There is one more spleen tool, right? If you want to see your data lineage or Spark job, you can use this.
Okay, sir. So there was one more question which is very widely asked over interviews as well, sir. So what's your opinion on Hive? Still, do you think that companies are using Hive, or our companies are moving towards Snowflake, because Snowflake is also doing a lot of noise in the market?
No. See, when you talk about any company, or they are saying their data is on-premise, so they never go away from Hive.
Yeah.
Right. So if it's on-premise, they're definitely into Hive. If they're talking about the Presto, Trino, we are using Presto, we are using Trino, then it means they are talking about Hive. So Hive will never go away from any big organizations. Either it's Walmart, either it's what do I say, Airbnb, use Hive heavily, right? So it is never going to anywhere. They're building wrappers on top of Hive. So you must know Hive. Then you will get to know, okay, Hive Metastore, you might be know, right? Hive Metastore.
Yeah, sir. So, exactly.
So Hive Metastore is something like any system can't think without Hive Metastore, right?
Exactly.
So if any company is working, they're let's say if they are on a completely cloud-based, right? So might be they don't use Hive because those clouds provide their own interfaces, right? But if they are on-premise, they can't think without Hive to data processing. So this either it's use or not. But if you want to learn the big data in a great sense of conceptualization, you must know Hive.
Yeah, sir.
Right?
That is cool. Yes. There was one more question from my end. This is the last question, sir. So what are you looking for a potential candidate within 2 years who's having 2 years of experience? If you are interviewing someone, sir, let's consider if you are interviewing someone.
If I interview a candidate for 2 years, I tried to understood his logical ability to how he approach the solutions, right? So there are two kinds of candidates. If you ask some question, they directly jump into the solution. That's what I did in my initial career of, right? But this is not the right way, right? Because sometimes, let's say you read about, I'll tell you again an example, right?
Yeah.
If I ask a MSCK repair for a 2 years experience guy, he will let me know, completely let me know, because he just keep on studying. What is its uses? What its complications when you use it overly? I mean, say enough, right? If you eat enough, then you have no option to vomit.
Yeah.
You are going to vomit, right? If you talk about the partition, they will tell you a lot of nice stories about the partition, but it comes to the real solution, real problem, how you're going to utilize this partition, then it's a problem. So first, I say for the 2 years experience candidate, whatever you're writing in your CV, you must to know with that. Don't overwrite things. Don't complicate on your, right? If you write something, if you are good to theory, I'm happy to hire them, right? Apart from that, I see some logical buildings, like let's say I ask some data structure question or something. It doesn't mean you have to solve that problem, but how you're approaching the problem, that should be your point of failure. If Hive, why Hive, right? You know Hive, you know things, it's okay. Because I believe if you talk about the Hive, people don't practice actually, because they don't have infrastructure to practice Hive, right? So they just keep on studying. And one more important thing, if you read about these things, right? Read from their official sites.
Okay.
Because same thing, if you read, 10 people will tell you different 10 ways, right? And you will get confused in the final time. Oh, what I have, right? I have seen a lot of misleading information about some terms over the LinkedIn actually. I try to figure it out, but it's okay. When you are in the flood, never mind where you are flowing.
Exactly. Yeah. Thank you, sir. Thank you for that question. Thank you for your patience, sir. Audience, it's up to you. If you are having any doubts, you can unmute and speak one by one, guys. Uh, if you are having any doubts, you can ask over your chat as well, or else you can unmute and you can speak one by one, guys. Anyone, guys? Whoever it might be.
Yeah, hi, hello. Hi,
Hi.
Prakash Yadav.
Hi.
Yeah.
See, I'm, as you said, like your advice is very valuable and it is very helpful to me. Thank you so much for that first. And secondly, I'm into Scala. So, like, do you think like Airflow is written in Python? So, would it be good if I learn Python basics on side by side, or because scheduler tool is very important nowadays? So, how would you advise me in this case?
So see, if I talk about the Airflow, right? Python.
Yeah.
So you no need to learn a very deep Pythons, right? If you are good with the syntax, how you write a function, how you declare a collection, and how you call a function in Python, that's enough for the Airflow. Right?
Okay.
How you write a loop, that's enough. You don't need to read Panda or XYZ deep libraries about the Spark Python actually. You must be good into reading the syntax of the Python, right? And you can understand it easily. Oh, okay, what this piece of code is doing, right? If you talk about Scala and Python, they are very similar. You just remove they are completely mirror to each other, right? In some context, not completely, but in some context, right?
Exactly, sir.
You can learn Python if you know the basics, like how you can declare a variable, how you can write a Python function, how you can write a loop. That's enough for the Airflow. Nothing else you have to write actually.
Okay, sir.
Sure.
That's good.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. There was one more question from Nabila. He was asking like, how important is to learn data visualization for a data engineer? She might be like asking more specifically in terms of visualization tools. It might be.
So see, so data engineering actually, that's why I'm saying data engineering taken as a very wrong perception actually. They want to do data engineering. So data engineering not something you have to write a visualization to. For you, you should be very open. Okay, you want to get the visualization from my side. Give me a week, I will give you the visualization as well, right? So you should be very open. Now, learning point of view, in my 8 years of experience, I have never used any visualization tool. But it doesn't mean I cannot use it. I cannot learn it. If you have a can-do attitude, it's okay. And never think about the visualization or Spark or Flink or something. If you have this can-do attitude, now you can learn in everything. Because over internet, everything is free. You can learn, you can just start working with it. See, when you see the images, right? The blocks.
Yes. Yeah.
Then you can make it anything. But let's say I put a blank paper for you. It's very hard to write something. But if I give some dots, you are going to draw the exact image, not be 100%, but you will be right up to 78 to 80%, right? So,
exactly, sir.
See, if you have time, just keep it as your side learning, visualization.
Yeah,
but
visualization.
If you can't learn visualization, then you are obsolete for the data role. It's completely, in my opinion, it's completely wrong thinking, right? If you want to learn ABC, learn it. Because see, if you're working, you are in organization, your organization expectation is different with your career inspiration, right? They are paying, right? Monthly pay. So if they give you, okay, do this Excel entry, you don't have any choice, and you can't switch job weekly, right? Every company set of context of what they want to achieve you, right? So they are paying for some work, so they are going to give you some work. So never expect something from company or something. And also never overthink, I want to learn everything and then I become expert data engineer. That will happen. See, once you landed into the job, you are going to work with set of tools. And then once you get more involved in your system or in project, then you get to know, okay, this is happening, this is shortcomings I am seeing, what tools can fill up with this, right? Then your learning will be very fruitful. But if you see, I learn A, I learn B, I learn C, that is not make any use of it, because over the period you learn something and then you forget it, and then it comes to the actual implementation, then again you started reading.
Exactly.
So visualization can do as a data engineer, but it's not a very big, because the visualization when it comes is completely a data analytics role.
Exactly.
Right. So data engineer who cooks the data for data analyst and data scientist. Right.
Exactly, sir. Yeah,
so
sir.
When you went to the restaurant, you order something, right? So everything just being represented. So there are always 5-star hotel, 3-star hotel, and even dhaba. So their representation skills are different.
Yeah.
Right. You can take your labels, right? The visualization labels, it could be a beginner or something. But who cooks in a very well way? You never go inside the kitchen.
Exactly.
Right? That's what the data engineers do with that data, right? They curate the data, and then data analyst or data science work on that curated layer. Oh, okay, we have already data. I will give you a very simple example. Let's say you have a MySQL database. There are 20 tables, right?
Yeah, sir.
The 20 tables, you're using all those 20 tables with some joins, some aggregations, but final outcome is only 5 columns.
Yeah, sir.
So here is the data engineers come. So why would you need all these 20 tables in a one big join query? What if I will give you a single table, a single view, all this curated data? That will be because then how your pain goes away, you no need to know about the schema of all those 20 tables.
Exactly.
Right? So this is the final data I have. I want to play with this one.
Okay.
I hope you got my.
Sir. You got it. And Ramchandran, you can unmute and you can speak.
Yeah, sorry, I'm asking too many questions, but I'm very eager to know a lot of things. Secondly is like what I would like to know is like, so I am in the phase of giving interviews recent times. So like, what are the topics related to big data you'll prefer most? Like you said, Hive, Spark, and these kind of topics. Which one we should be expert in? Like, of course, we don't want to study much. Like first we have to give an entry level, then we will explore later. So what kind of basic things you would suggest for us, so that it would be very easy for us?
Ram, how much experience you have?
Yeah, I have total 3. I'm going it.
I will tell you something. So see, when you going to appear for any interview, first be concise on your resume. What you have mentioned over there. See, there are 2 things I learned back in 2012. I just met one of the Naukri employee. So he told me how Naukri profile gets eye catch for the recruiter. So you have to keep every keyword in your resume or in your profile. So you will be on top of the search. But when you goes to the actual interview, concise your resume.
Exactly.
You just go with the resume, you know, with the 100% confidence, right? Forget about what was written in the resume and job is you get shortlisted, because they don't care about that shortlisting. Once you landed in the interview room, you should be very concise. And being beginner, I would say always prepare with the fundamental. Don't go with all fancy interview questions, right? This is top 100 questions. This is top 9 question. I don't know which algorithm people are using to make it top. I don't know actually, right? If you start answering some questions, right, the interviewer, if he's good enough, know that depth of the technology, he will keep you pushing on the same topic, how much you know on that, right? So always be clear about your fundamentals, right? And next, if you saying something, why this happens, why, so there is a term, right? Triple W, when, what, and why, right? There's something you should know all this. And even you know theoretically, if you're clear in theoretically, so the practical will be always easy when you are going to apply your theories.
Exactly.
So just go with the basics. If you write something in your resume before appearing in the, just print out your resume, see how much you have prepared, how much you have written into the resume, and how much you confident on it, right?
Exactly.
Used to be happen, right? So beyond that, and then focus on the fundamentals. If you can get some practical insights on top of those topics, that will be a great fit for you. oh, okay, you know the theory and you also know the practical, how we are going to apply this theory. That would be good when
Okay.
we. That's how I interview the freshers, man. Till 3 years or 4 years, I took like this. I never asked too much to them. I just
Okay,
asked,
sir.
okay, you know this, okay, fine. Okay, let me, you have an array or something, how you're going to approach this solution. I don't want to write the exact solution, but how you're going to solve this. Just tell me how you're going to solve me, right? So this will
Yes.
give you how you think the problem. So there are two kind of candidates. They do lot of muggings, appear in the interview. When the interviewer asks the question, is just blown in mind. Oh, I read this question, I'm going to answer it. So without spoiling a bit, they just keep on throwing answers, and that is not a
Okay.
good, that is not a good thing.
Okay.
Always
That's
take
Thank
true.
you so much. Thank you.
always take a pause. Even you know the
Yeah.
answer, take a pause, and then
Okay.
so they will say, "Oh, he's processing something."
Thank
Okay.
you so much.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you. Sir, there was one more question, sir. Like there was one more question from Bhavesh. He's asking that do you perform unit testing in your code? Like, do you use any tools or you do it manually? Then to do it manually, how you generally do it?
Okay, sir. See,
Yeah.
when it comes to the data engineering, actually, this is one of the very pain area for the data engineering. Sometimes you do unit tests, sometimes you don't do. It depends
Yeah,
on the
exactly.
project, your project exigency or something. But on a theory basis, you must write a unit test, right? So basically, in Spark code, we use basically mostly Scala, right? So there is a Scala library, Scala test something. So if you write some
Exactly.
functions, you can test it with the dummy data, right? Because creating data frame or something, you can do it easily. How you are just wanted to
Exactly.
test, right? So as a developer, you must write. Everyone is going to say you must write the JUnit, but it depends on the requirement, right? But if you have
Okay.
a habit to write the JUnit, definitely it's going to be a great learning for you.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay, sir.
it should be a must do, right? So I think there is a Scala test library, basically, we usually use for the Spark, our Spark testing actually. So it make it
Okay,
happen
sir.
because it's you are going to test your code before
Yes.
representing the testing team or in production.
Yeah. Sir, okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you for good insight. Sir, there was one more question from Bhumika. Sure. He was asking that do data migration process in data migration process validation are considered in validations. Whatever the validations will do, is it necessary to keep it in resume? He was like she was asking, like, yeah,
See, when you are okay, let me tell you something. So when you keep some projects in your
resume.
right, so sometimes people suggest you just highlight what you have done, right?
Yeah.
But if you are working in a 20 people's team, so there will be very less to tell them what I have done. But as a team, you have done a lot, right? So when it comes to the projects in a company, this was not an individual efforts. It was a complete team effort, right? So
Exactly.
migration, you could say, okay, I have the migration project. I owe this database. Basically, I took the ownership of this database. This data was having 20 or 50 tables. I took end-to-end migration of this table of the ownership. But you are no need to write this theory. Just write, I did a migration. I took the ownership of this project. From this out of the very big data, I just take the database of this and then migrated this number of tables, right? So just write the migration. If they dig down, what you have done,
Okay.
just break it over the table. But no need to write a theory in your CV. It's just a bullet point is enough, right? Okay,
Yes.
migration you have done. What migration you have done? Teradata to big data. What tools you have used? Just write it there. Now the
Okay.
comes, you just write it. I took the ownership of this, leading the design strategy of this table. Now they come up with the follow-up question. Okay, what exactly you have done? Then you tell, I took a database. That database having 50 tables, right? So I design how we are going to use, what is the uses. But see, migration is not something very easy project if you talk about the data side, right? The migration projects considered as one of the hardest project for any country, any company, right? Walmart is doing migration from last 4 years, but even they haven't completed 60%.
Okay.
Because it requires a lot of patience, right? You have to study the older system, then you have to convert it to the new system, then you're shifting your data, then you have to do the validation, right? Then you can sell.
Exactly.
So your
That's a
resume,
big difference.
your resume keeps the bullet points, what exactly this project is,
Yeah.
right? What was your contribution? So in contribution, you can write, I migrated one of the database having 100 tables end to end. Now, if
Exactly.
he's interested, he will ask you to break it down in the architecture diagram. Then take it up how you have done so far. No need to write, I have write this ingestion which was taking X terabyte of data and then it's landed and I reduce this something, blah, blah, blah. Actually, then you are just making assumptions.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, sir. So there
Well,
was one more question,
adding
sir.
to this, I was having one query.
Yeah.
Sir, means can you tell means what sort of migration in Walmart is currently happening now? From where to where?
So basically, I believe from Walmart, see, I didn't work, but one of my director told, right? So basically, they have Teradata, right? Teradata. So
Yeah.
see, Walmart is a kind of a very big organization, right? So they have the different databases like Oracle, MySQL, Postgres, something. So these are the source system because they are the OLTP, right? OLTP.
Yeah.
But when it
Yes,
comes to data, big data, it's always a OLAP, right? Even
exactly.
Teradata is a OLAP system, right? Teradata is being used for your analysis, data inside.
Exactly.
So Teradata, see, if your data is growing, Teradata is becoming bottleneck for the costing. And even it's
Exactly.
sometimes because Walmart have a lot of data actually. So I think they are migrating their data from the Teradata to big data actually.
Okay, that's cool, sir. Sir, there was one more question from Atish. He was asking that if you are a fresher, like if he's a fresher, if he want to clear the interview and he don't know about project architecture, that's if he's not that good at project architecture, then what should be the key things that he should showcase to clear an interview?
See, first of all, being a fresher, I would suggest start your career with the software engineering. Okay. Okay. Let's say you make a mind. No, I don't. I just wanted to become a data engineer, right? So this will be always for you. This is going to be always a challenge. How you are going to showcasing your skills because you don't have the prior experience, right? So
Exactly.
in that case, you have to do right. Do a lot of things over the LinkedIn, right? Something whatever you are studying. Make your Git profile strong. Whatever the data stuff you are doing, reading something, just keep on pushing into your public Git repo, right? And highlight it. How much you are active in this data community. So that can give you a great sense of the ownership. Okay, even you are a fresher, but you know a lot. So see, these days, if you have an interview, they get to know your profile. They will just jump into the LinkedIn. They will see your activities. How, what are you doing over the internet actually?
Exactly.
So being
Exactly,
fresher,
sir.
it's okay. It depends on the company, right? They hire you if you are too much active in this community. Show your what I would say, show your interest. I want to learn something. This right. So how much
Exactly.
because data engineering not something you can just showcase something, but you can tell them the story, right? I read this, I write blogs, I read these blogs, I follow these blogs. That should
Exactly.
clear your fundamentals because they are not going
Exactly.
to ask you how you are going to optimize your code in production because
Okay.
that's what you haven't done, right?
Yeah.
We definitely want to know how Sparks internally work, how Hive internally work. That's what expectations they get from your side.
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you for your answer. Sir, there was one more question from Bhavesh. He was asking that if any pipeline is failing in production, how do you generally check that and how you debug that?
So when any pipelines stuck in the production, we have a basically alerts. Actually, we use the alerts, right? It
Yes.
depends on the job SLA, which SLA your job is comprised. So we use actually custom alerts. Sometimes you use
Okay.
open source, sometimes you use the paid one. So there is always a 24/7 team also, those monitoring these teams, right? So if something is broken into the production, there is always a alerts sent to the respective developers or team. There is something happening, right? And when it goes to the debugging, we go with the logs, what exactly happens, right? So pipelines always not broken up with due to your code itself, right? Sometimes because see, distributed system is a very complex system. It just make one system with lot of components. So you never know which components is the culprit. So you have to debug each and every part where your code is exactly stuck. Might be it could be the your source is coming late. Might be there was some network glitch happens. Might be the job was submitted on particular node that was crashed, right?
Exactly, sir.
It can be happen. And to be honest, sometimes we never got any solution for some problems. The only solution, rerun it and then see.
Sir. Okay, sir.
Yeah. But
sir,
see, I can tell you in terms of what problems we face. But this is actually our daily dose, like a tea. If you are in data engineering and you are running pipelines, 1,000 pipelines are there. Always 10% is always in the some critical stage. So always here and there something.
Sir, one more question from my end, sir. Sir, as you have a lot of wide experience over big data tech stack, sir, what is the build tool you generally use for building jars? So all the stuff.
So see, for building build tools, actually, in my company we use Jenkins actually, right?
Okay.
Basically, Jenkins is okay. See, Jenkins we use Git flow something, right? The Git workflow.
Okay, sir.
Automated builds. That is enough, I think. Even what we do, we just build the jars and push into the repository, and then That's see, if you're working in the GCP project, right?
Okay.
You always push your jar into the GCS, and then your automation will trigger. So in big data, there is no basically fancy build tools. Actually, I would say.
Okay,
so
sir.
always build your job, put it to something repository, and then your job is getting started.
Exactly. Okay, sir. Sir, there was one more question from my end as well. So, what is like according to your experience, what is the ID very famously used over the industry? Like when we are writing the things
ID,
over there.
ID, if you use, I think IntelliJ is the fine. I think
yes, sir.
IntelliJ is the most used for the developers.
Exactly.
But again, it comes to the flavor, right? IntelliJ will support everything. But for Python, I use PyCharm. But again, it's IntelliJ, right? But code is also one of the good choice. But I have seen 90% cases, people are using IntelliJ.
Exactly. That is cool. Thank you, sir.
Sir, I was very used to be Eclipse, right? But when I moved to some companies, they were using IntelliJ. In initial days, I was very bored with the IntelliJ. But once you interact a lot, right, you get to know the features of this ID actually.
Exactly.
So widely used, actually, I would say widely used IntelliJ.
Thank you, sir.
Use IntelliJ.
Okay. Sir, there was one more question from my end. So it is a very commonly and everyone has that question, sir. So as a market is moving for simpler things, like you can consider like a market is moving towards GCP, marketing is moving towards AWS and Azure. So what would be your suggestion? Because there are multiple things. Some people say learn AWS. Some people say Azure is having a lot of demand. Azure is picking up. So you learn Azure. Some people say Snowflake will be in demand. Snowflake gonna rule the world. So some people say that. So many people are confused what to learn, which to learn, why to learn. So can you give you that some brief understanding about which if someone wants to learn or someone wants to learn some cloud, so what would be the better choice, sir?
Yeah, I would say for anyone, even for me, right? I never go with framework actually. So you must be very clear with your fundamentals. See, if you know distributed fundamentals, so see, to learning framework is nothing hard thing, right? Might be people go to the GCP or AWS or Azure, right?
Azure.
They have a very good documents. How you can just do quick start. But if you don't know the Spark, how you're going to start? Tell me. If you don't know
Exactly.
how you're going to do the data analytics, if you don't know SQL, how you're going to do analytics, right? So framework is the complete choice of organization. Which tool? But yeah, if you know the fundamentals, framework you can learn in week. I would say week or two maximum. And also, if you join any new organization, they give you at least month to
Exactly.
digest the system, and that 1 month is enough to learn any specific tool. And you don't need to be very expert in any tool, right? Because
Exactly,
you
sir.
are going to just perform a piece of job in that project,
Exactly.
and that will lead you to be an expert on that particular topic. You are going
Yeah.
to connecting dots. Okay, I am doing this. For this fallback, I have to learn this. So parallelly, you are doing your job, you are learning things. But never think, if I don't learn Azure, I am going to be obsolete from the market.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's completely a wrong interpretation for the people who are just seeking for the jobs, right? Everyone is selling their stuff, right? See, every product have different brands, but still the fundamental is same, right? If you know the
Exactly, sir.
fundamental, only name changes, right? You
Exactly.
know how the movies hero act, right?
Exactly.
Based on their role, they just do
Change
acting,
it.
right?
Exactly.
Right. The similar way, the no cloud is different with them. It's just the different
Exactly.
wrapper, the UI they have built for you, but the underlying fundamentals are same. I know the demand is Azure is too much, AWS is too much, GCP is too much, but it depends on the organization, how your organization is working, right? So see, if you are completely developer friendly company, if you want to build something own, so people prefer GCP. The small organization, they just want to invest money, they prefer AWS, right? But when it comes to the data governance, because Microsoft has a big presence across the world, right?
Yes.
So the people choose Azure, right? So see, never put your 60% into the fundamental learnings and
Okay, sir.
40% into the any framework learning. Either you
Yes.
want to learn, because see, now Databricks is also coming, right? So Databricks is the complete framework for you. Even you learn
Exactly, sir.
Databricks, it's okay for GCP, it's okay for AWS, it's okay for
Any
uh,
any kind of.
any cloud provider, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So your major time should be in the fundamentals and the
Exactly.
40% is the framework. Okay, it's okay. If you see a 3 hours video for any framework, you'll get to know, okay. So for data engineering, there are very less tools you have to use, right?
Okay.
So never worry about the framework, what they're going to use. Okay, you are going for an interview, just get the JD details, what they're actually using, and then give a
Yes.
week study on top of that with their documentation, how you're going
Yeah.
to do the stuff. And that's enough for
Yeah.
you. I think that's how I understood, right? I never work in
Yeah.
any so far.
Okay.
Currently, I am
Okay.
working with GCP. I'm using GCP very usually, especially your BigQuery, Dataproc or something. But it doesn't mean it's going to screw up you, right? You learn
Okay, sir.
because in operation, you are always going to get the time to learn the things,
Exactly.
right? If you
Yeah.
have attitude can do, then you don't need to learn in everything. But for clearing your interview, you must know fundamentals.
Okay, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, sir. I took a lot of time. So last two questions, sir, from my end. So one question would be, sir, as you had wide experience, so why you have seen multiple things. So sir, for you, so you used to what used to be the source system for you? It used to be the file format, or you used to get the data from RDBMS systems, or combination of both?
Yeah, see, when it comes to the migration project, so
Yeah.
it is RDBMS. Your source is always
Okay.
RDBMS, right?
Okay.
And when it comes to the complete some trading platform or something, because see, the most of the projects are built on this relational systems. So your
Okay, sir.
source most of the time is RDBMS. But
Exactly.
when you are working on some analytics project, some monitoring tools or something, then definitely they are going to be a file based, right? The
Okay,
ingestion,
sir.
like you are building some monitoring tool of the logs, right? So log shipping in the
Exactly.
file. But majority of the cases, your system is the relational database when it comes to the migration, actually.
Okay, sir. Okay. Yeah, audience, Bhumika, like you have any doubt, you unmute. Hello, Bhumika. You can
Yeah.
ask. Yeah.
Yeah. So currently in our project, there is separate team which loads the data to the AWS and we fetch that AWS data. So is it same like this? Means there are different teams for cloud, and so means do we also need to have a knowledge of that also? I mean,
See, so that's how it's your interest, right? You want to learn the holistic overview of your project, what exactly happening in your system. And it's up to you if you are stick with your role. Okay. So see, if you know A to B, then you will be always a good solution provider because you know the dark side and the bright side of your project. But if you just stick with your role, oh, we got the data, do it. That's your job. It is not going to harm you, but when your career is grown up, right? So you should be learning. So there are always good friends in every team, right? So data
Yeah, sir.
engineering is a source team who is just ingesting the data, and then you are curating that data. Then you are throwing that data to the data analytics team, right? So they are.
Exactly.
So your cross team communication must be very strong to learn. Okay, tell me how you guys are ingesting the data. What tools you are using. So you don't need to learn everything, but at least you need to learn what they are using for this. So in future, if you get to know, okay, we have such kind of scenario, so your mind will be completely clear. This was that's what we were doing in my last organization, right? You just bring your ideas to them. That will give you right visibility and also approaching solutions how you are, right? Never stop yourself with your just your own work, right? Like that is, we would say, meet expectations, right?
Exactly, sir.
So try here and there actually. Always try
Okay,
to
sir.
communicate with the teams. What exactly they are doing. You need to learn everything, but you should
Yeah,
know what they are using actually.
exactly.
So try to understand your architecture actually. Because if you are
Yes.
going to interview, I'll tell you one example, right? I was taking an interview for a guy who was having 8 years of experience. He was working for the Nike, right? So when we asked draw the architecture, so he created a very nice architecture, right? Then we started narrowing down his role actually. So in very next 5 minutes, he cut down the 60% of the architecture he was not aware about. Why? So he was saying this was not my job. I was just doing transformation, shipping the data to the Y location. So
Exactly.
my question was, then why did you draw this complete architecture if you don't know? No, this is the architecture I have to draw. Then you are just putting yourself into the danger, right? Then okay, I asked him, okay, you know Hive? He was saying, yeah, I know Hive. How much experience you have? He was saying, I have 4 years of experience, Hive. So I just asked one question, okay, what have you ever used MSCK repair? The right away he said, I have never used MSCK repair. And then the interview is done. Because if you are 8 years in data engineering, you are using Hive 4 years and you have never used MSCK repair, that means you are just bluffing,
Exactly.
right? So Bhavana, right? So be always,
Bhumika, Bhumika.
oh sorry, Bhumika. So be
Yeah.
always try to understand your X, Y, Z. Even you are doing Y, but you have to get some insights about the X. You have to get some insights about the G, right? Then you will provide better solutions.
Okay.
You'll get
That's
to know,
cool.
even you don't need to use Kafka, but at least you get to know how they're using Kafka. So you know theory,
Okay.
right?
Exactly.
Theory is good.
Yes. Yes, sir. Thank you. Sir, final question, sir. Sir, I actually, you use a lot of performance tuning in Spark, it might be. So can you tell us some performance tuning tips that would be better?
So see, performance tuning, when we talk about the Spark, basically the way
Yeah, Spark. Yes. Yeah.
Spark is evolving, right? They are doing self-intelligence about the optimizations, right?
Yeah.
But being developer, you should be always try to first know your data, how your data is,
Exactly.
right? Now, what exactly the outcome you want from that data, right? And then how your data is stored, how your data is being in size. So before doing your operation, do some like we usually do like run this explain command to understand what exactly going to happen when we submit our job, right? I
Okay,
know
sir.
reading that explain plan is not easy, right? But at least
Exactly.
you will get some insights, right? And then
Exactly.
do some dry run for your
Okay.
code, not the actual one, but do some dry runs, right? So you will
Exactly.
get some actual.
Insights.
And for see, in Spark, you cannot optimize in a very first place. It's always a hit and trial, right?
Exactly.
Just hit. If you see something, go to the Spark UI, read your UI, then come back, do some changes, again hit, then go to the Spark UI. So basically, it's a evolution of your optimization. I never seen someone write a code in very first place and it's very highly optimized. Even Spark was not able to do it, right? That's why they are just keep on bringing their versions,
Exactly,
optimization,
sir.
improvisations, right? Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, Pawan, you can ask. It would be the final question. Yeah.
Yeah, I Karthik, like we are both
Uh,
are same, like optimization techniques and performance tuning are both are same or difference.
yes,
See,
sir.
performance tuning, optimization, and performance tuning. See, performance, when you talk about the performance, it is not always your code, right? It is always your infrastructure where you are running your code. But optimization you can do in your code, right? Like
Exactly.
optimization you can put like understanding your system, understanding your problem, understanding your data, how you're going to use that data. That is the optimization. But performance, when it comes to the performance, it is completely depend on your infrastructure. Might be you have
Exactly.
an ugly code, but your infrastructure is super fast. So you never know the problem actually.
Exactly, sir.
Right?
Yeah. Thank you, sir. Sir, thank you. Thank you for answering all the questions, and thank you for giving your time, sir. Thank you. Thank you a lot. You came on
Just
our platform. Yeah.
one request from my side. Just do connect on the LinkedIn, whoever is here.
Yeah, sir.
So we'll learn
Yeah,
together.
I will share sir's LinkedIn profile over the WhatsApp. Guys, you can connect over to sir, and you can ask what are the questions you can have, and he will give you a lot of insights. Because he has a wide experience over big data tech stack, and he has worked over. You can understand he worked over MapReduce, so you can understand we are just working on Spark, which is quite easier. So we understand the bit internals of big data tech stack because it's been evolved over 2015 to 18. It's been evolved more. So sir has working from some 2012 it seems. So he has very good understanding about each and every internals. So I hope you can you can connect with him, sir. So connect with sir and you can get a lot of insights. So we have taken a lot of times of sir. So thank you, sir. Thank you for coming on to our platform and giving a lot of good insights. And really, it's a very pleasure, sir. You came here, and I think most of the people got to know how to get into the interviews, how to what actually because you as an interviewer, you are given a lot of tips what actually how to showcase an interview, even for a fresher as well. So thank you, sir. That's a cool insight, sir.
Yeah,
So anything you want to add, sir?
being on LinkedIn, just be active on the your basically very create a very right zone, right? So be
Exactly.
active on the data community. If you want to make your career in the data engineering, do read
Right.
actually. And one thing you should see. One more thing, if you're writing something, you are liking something, you're commenting something, you're sharing something, you are equally responsible whether you are sharing or commenting or thinking in the right content, right? See,
Right.
so don't bluntly share anything. This is what actually my suggestion for you guys, right? Because being learner, if you promote wrong things, right? So it will be harm you plus your network as well. So
Exactly.
do a fact check. If someone is sharing something, do a fact check whether this is the relevant or not. I tell you one of the question I just written many places in the LinkedIn. There was a question said. I think let me ask you guys. There is he was saying like what is the difference between RDBMS and SDFS? Do you think this is a logical question? Even I don't think so fresher can say it's a logical question.
Mm. No, sir, it's not illogical. There is
Right.
no sense of there is no comparison between.
That's why I'm saying. See that PDF was shared by a lot of people actually every day, every week.
Okay.
That's being rolled over, right?
Okay.
Even I asked the original poster, but he never come back to me. One of his follower came to me and called me actually. He was saying, first of all, I just misunderstood your question as well. And then he got to know when I read that question, that was completely wrong. But he was saying like his impression is he has having a very huge following, right? So if he accept his mistake, that could be a wrong impression for his profile actually. So I leave that context actually. But for you guys being responsible over the internet, right?
Yes, sir.
Fact check if someone is sharing, right? Don't just throwing
Blindly.
it like,
Exactly. Thank you, sir.
like a temple well. Anyone come and right? You are responsible.
Yeah, sir.
And
Yeah.
that's will show your sincerity, whatever you are sharing or reading or something, right?
Yeah.
So engagement actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Really. Thank you.
And
Thank you, sir.
Let's connect.
Yeah,
I also write something on LinkedIn, not the
yeah,
exact
sure.
60 day or something there, but I write very random notes based on my
Yeah,
day-to-day
sir.
experience in my job actually. I feel
Exactly, sir.
I just write it.
Yeah.
Yeah.